When it comes to anime, lewd stuff just comes with the turf, whether it's just some dirty jokes, sexual innuendos, fan service, or just borderline hentai, they all come in different shapes and sizes. Which brings me to the topic of this video of the 10 lewd anime you should watch alone. Unless you're some sort of degenerate who gets a kick out of making other people uncomfortable. Anyways, let's start the video. After gaining the title of the strongest warrior in the world, Peter Grill has finally proven his worth and is ready to take the hand of his beloved senior, the beautiful and innocent Lovelia Sanctos. Peter expects to have a healthy relationship with her, despite some objections from her father. Unfortunately, this dream quickly breaks apart as news of his grand victory spreads among the womenfolk of other races, ogres, orcs, elves, and others, some of them even vying for his seed to produce offspring blessed with his might. To avoid betraying the trust of his cherished Lovelia and causing a scandal, Peter strives to avoid other women's salacious advances. However, accomplishing such a feat with so many alluring women on his trail is easier said than done. Timid 16-year-old Rito Yuki has yet to profess his love to Haruna Serenji, a classmate and object of his infatuation since junior high. Sadly, his situation becomes even more challenging when one night, a mysterious, stark-naked girl crash lands right on top of a bathing Rito. To add to the confusion, Rito discovers that the girl, Lala Sadalin Devi Luke, is the crown princess of an alien empire and has run away from her home. Despite her position as the heiress to the most dominant power in the entire galaxy, Lala is surprisingly more than willing to marry the decidedly average Rito in order to avoid an unwanted political marriage. To Love Ru depicts Rito's daily struggles with the bizarre chaos that begins upon the arrival of Lala. With an ever-growing legion of swooning beauties that continuously foil his attempted confessions to Haruna, To Love Ru is a romantic comedy full of slapstick humor, sexy girls, and outlandishly lewd moments that defy the laws of physics. It happened suddenly, the dead began to rise and Japan was thrown into total chaos. As these monsters begin terrorizing a high school, Takashi Kimuro is forced to kill his best friend when he gets bitten and joins the ranks of the Walking Dead. Vowing to protect Rei Miyamoto, the girlfriend of the man he just executed, they narrowly escape their death trap of a school, only to be greeted with a society that has already fallen. Soon, Takashi and Rei band together with other students on a journey to find their family members and uncover what caused this overwhelming pandemic. Joining them is Seiko Busujima, the beautiful president of the Kendo Club, Kuta Hirano, an otaku with a fetish for firearms, Saya Takagi, the daughter of an influential politician, and Shizuka Morikawa, their hot school nurse. But will the combined strength of these individuals be enough to conquer this undead apocalypse? High School of the Dead is known for three things: zombies, gratuitous swearing, and rampant fan service. But mainly the fan service. We all know that anime has a habit of exaggerating human anatomy, but this series takes it to a completely new level, and you can look no further than that Matrix parody scene to understand what we mean. High School of the Dead isn't a game changer that forever alters what people think of anime. If anything, the show reinforces people's perception of the medium since the series is exactly what you'd expect if The Walking Dead were an anime, instead of a live-action TV show. That's not a bad thing, though. The show sets out to entertain the audience and goes completely over the top while doing so. The seven mortal sins, demons from hell, have pressed forward and have started to spread their plague. Heaven is in chaos, and the angels of the seven heavenly virtues are sent to earth to search for a candidate to become the true Messiah. These angels are many things, but virtuous is not one of them. Temperance alone is proof of that. You'd think they'd take their mission to find the next Messiah before Armageddon more seriously, considering the end times are near and all. But most of these angels act as waifus instead. The show is pure fan service, and if you don't believe us, then just watch the episode where they all do jumping jacks. With his parents abroad, Kimihito Kurusu lived a quiet, unremarkable life alone until monster girls came crowding in. This alternate reality presents cutting-edge Japan, the first country to promote the integration of non-human species into society. After the incompetence of interspecies exchange coordinator Agent Smith leaves Kamihito as the homestay caretaker of a lamia named Maya, the newly minted darling quickly attracts girls of various breeds, resulting in an ever-growing harem flush with eroticism and attraction. Unfortunately for him and the ladies, sexual interactions between species is forbidden by the Interspecies Exchange Act. The only loophole is through an experimental marriage provision. Kamihito's life becomes fraught with an abundance of creature-specific caveats and sensitive interspecies law as the passionate, affectionate, and lusty women hound his every move, seeking his romantic and sexual affections. With new species often appearing and events materializing out of thin air, where Kamihito and his harem go is anyone's guess. This series popped out of nowhere and caught the anime world by storm, according to many. Monster Musume is a typical Ecchi harem rom-com, so how did the monster girl concept become so popular? Because monster girls are neither a gimmick nor a fresh creation. They litter our stories. Mermaids are a folklore staple in many cultures, while harpies are based on Greek mythology. There's even the goddess Batet from Egyptian mythology. And these are only a few examples. If you look closely, you'll uncover stories that teach human guys how to seduce monster girls. Souma Yukihira has been cooking alongside his father Joichiro for as long as he can remember. As a sous chef at his father's restaurant, he has spent years developing his culinary expertise and inventing new dishes to amaze their customers. He aspires to exceed his father's skill and take over the restaurant one day, but he is shocked to learn that Joichiro is closing up the shop to take a job in New York. Rather than tagging along with his father, Souma finds himself enrolling at the prestigious Tutsuki Culinary Academy, where only 10% of its students end up graduating. The school is famous for its Shokugeki, intense cooking competitions between students often used to settle debates and arguments. Joichiro tells Souma that to surpass him and survive the next 3 years at Tutsuki and graduate there, the academy's brutal curriculum and fiercely competitive student body await the young chef, who must learn to navigate the treacherous environment if he wants to stand a chance at realizing his dreams. But is skill alone enough to let him rise to the top? We now can take use of this chance to explain how Food Wars is a great anime full with colorful characters and tasty food. We can discuss how the anime expertly incorporates culinary competitions into the shonen genre, while also creating superb tension and a nakama drama. But, let's face it, Food Wars is best renowned for its foodgasms. What's the deal with all the foodgasms? We could guess that you should demonstrate to the audience that food is tasty rather than informing them. We think, though, that it's all in the name of fan service. On his first day of high school at the formerly all-girls Sensei Private Academy, Takatoshi Suda is called out for his untidy uniform by the student council president Shino Amakusa. In apology for delaying Takatoshi for his first class, and stating that the group needs a male point of view to accommodate the arrival of boys at the school, Shino offers him the position of vice president of the student council. Though unwilling, Takatoshi finds himself appointed as the newest member of the student council, having yet to even step foot inside the school building. Takatoshi soon realizes that the other student council members, who are more than a little strange, President Shino, who is studious and serious in appearance, but actually a huge pervert, fascinated with the erotic and constantly making lewd jokes, the secretary Aria Shichijo, who may seem like a typical sheltered rich girl, but is just as risque as the president, if not more so, and finally, the treasurer Suzu Hagamura, who may act fairly normal, but has the body of an elementary school student and is extremely self-conscious of it. Surrounded by these colorful characters, the new vice president must now work through a non-stop assault of sexual humor and insanity. Second-year high school student Ichiro Sato has always been an average person, that is, until he runs into some not-so-average situations with his teacher, Kana the Demon Kojima. Kojima is Sato's Japanese language teacher with a reputation for being so ruthless that even school delinquents bow down to her. One fateful day, things escalate when Sato runs into Kojima in the restroom, leading them to share an intimate encounter that makes his imagination run wild for days after. Why the hell are you here? Teacher follows Sato and his teacher's daily lives as they continue to meet under similar circumstances, becoming closer with each meeting. Whatever you want to say about why the hell are you here, teacher. But it certainly understands how to construct a multi-scenario premise from a single question. After all, a series like this has greater leeway with its target audience since they are more receptive of, shall we say, creative liberties with probability. They're looking for the plot rather than the plot. It's wonderful to have a narrative, but that's not why you're watching. In their teenage years, few things can hurt people more than the heartaches that come with unrequited love. Such is the case for Natsuo Fuji, who has found himself entranced by his school's ever-cheerful teacher Hina. Deflated by this unreachable desire, Natsuo humors his friends and attends a mixer. There he meets Rue, a girl whose lack of excitement rivals that of himself. After bonding over their mutual awkwardness, Rue takes Natsuo to her house and asks him to have sex with her, hoping that the experience will stop her friends from treating her like a clueless child. With his hopeless feelings towards Hina still on his mind, Natsuo hesitantly agrees. Equally unfulfilled by their first times, the two decide to part ways as strangers. However, before he even has a chance to process this experience, Natsuo's father drops a major bombshell. He is getting remarried, and his new wife Tsukiko Tachibana is coming over now to meet Natsuo. As if that was not enough of a shock, her daughters, and, in turn, Natsuo's new sisters, are Hina and Rue Tachibana, the woman he's in love with and the girl with whom he shared his first night. Now, Natsuo must come to terms with the feelings he has for his step-siblings as his eyes open to a darker side of love. Dreaming of changing the world for good, Akudo Sai transfers to Constant Magic Academy where he befriends a virtuous ninja clan member, Junko Hattori. On the way to the academy, they vow to make the world a better place together. However, the situation suddenly takes a turn for the worse upon his arrival. It is prophesied that he will become the Demon King. As word of his destiny spreads, the school begins to fear him, and Junko's trust in him falters. While Akudo is determined to not let his predicted future control his fate, it seems as though everything he says and does only serve to reinforce the fact that he is destined to be the Demon King. Moreover, he is surrounded by a harem of beautiful girls who each have their own plans for him, ranging from bringing him to justice to simply showering him with love. With his newly awakened powers, Akudo must cope with his constantly growing list of misfortunes and fight to prove that his fate is not set in stone. Demon King Daimaou is what happens when you want to be a good person, but the Sorting Hat is a jerk and assigns you to Slytherin, rather than Gryffindor. Now the entire school knows you're up to no good no matter what you do. Why? Because that's how assumptions work. That is Akudo's predicament, for it turns out he is the future Demon King, a fate he despises. Unfortunately, whatever he tries to do to clear the air backfires badly. Naturally, it's a harem anime in which the protagonist can tell the rest of the world to suck it.